20 Infinity.
96.7 The Beat, the A, Hip Hop and R&B. I am Moran, the man, and we are locked in for another edition of the 404 Spotlight. We basically just highlight artists who are just out here doing their thing on the come up. And I got an artist in the building with me right now. Introduce yourself, my brother, for the people.
What's up, man? It's Dames. Nice to be here.
Congratulations, man. Thank
Appreciate
you for being able to make it on time.
Of course,
5
of course,
minutes early.
of course.
Hey, it's a good trend to see that up-and-coming artists like to come to their interviews on time.
Hey, man, gotta be on time.
Absolutely. So for the people who may not be familiar with you as an artist, talk to us about you. Who are you, and how did you really get started with music?
My name is Dames. I've been doing music for a while now. I've been putting out music since for about 5 years, since about 2014.
Okay.
I rap, sing, dance, a songwrite, I edit. Try to do as much as I can. I'm working on a new project right now that's coming out. I'm trying to drop it in the fall sometime, and I just dropped a new single called Disaster earlier this month. And so I'm really excited about that.
Absolutely. So how did you really get introduced to the arts?
I feel like when I was, if I could go back to when I was like a little kid, I feel like one of my cousins used to work at, back in Mississippi before I moved to Georgia, one of my cousins used to work at this like media store. And I would kind of be in there, and I would kind of like, I want to say she had bought maybe like a cassette tape or a CD back. It was cassette tapes back then, and I just kind of became obsessed with music, and just kind of found my passion at a really early age, and like music just never really left me, and started writing as I got older, and then once I got to a point where I was able to really make my own music, started putting it out right 2014.
Absolutely. So what was it like for you growing up in Mississippi? Because, when it comes to music, y'all have somewhat of a decent lineage that I feel like people forget about.
Right. Yeah, I mean, I left when I was 6. So coming up, I remember vaguely like my childhood, like different moments, you know what I'm saying? But by the time I left, I was still very young. So a lot of my fondest memories happened, once I got to Georgia. But it is like a different scene, musically out there. I'm not really sure like how my sound would even be had I, you know what I'm saying, if I didn't, if I hadn't been here since I was 6, I feel like I'm very much so Atlanta. Like,
right, you
for
from
sure.
here now, basically.
Yeah, for sure.
So what side of town did you grow up on?
On the east side.
Oh, east side. Golly, man. Y'all got too much talent coming out of this town, man. Jesus Christ, I should have known that. So what was it like for you growing up in the 6?
It was cool. Like I wouldn't have chose to grow up anywhere else. I feel like it definitely teaches you thick skin. For sure. I feel like, I got my thickest skin just from growing up where I grew up. I feel like you said, a lot of good talent came out of there. But just growing up, it was, I had my ups and downs. I had faced my challenges, but I had my older brother Ryan, who was like a year older than me. So he definitely made it a lot smoother for me growing up. So I didn't really have a lot to worry about.
Dope.
Yeah.
Dope. So what were, some of the challenges that you had to deal with personally?
Just like, my sexuality, my parents had their divorce. My parents had got divorced when I was in high school, when I was in 10th grade, and like it kind of really messed up the whole like household, and it was just a lot going on at one time. Started using drugs, just a lot of stuff, trying to find myself and figure things out, and yeah.
Okay, man. Cool. So, you brought up your sexuality. I feel like we live in an era where now it's starting to become more acceptable for people to be who they are,
right?
And, express like, this is me. So, what was it like for you when you were going through your phase? Like, did you already know what it was for you from jump? Like, how did you?
I feel like I did. I feel like I kind of always kind of knew. Yeah. I feel like I always kind of knew. I'm not really sure how far I would be in my process had I not gone through a lot of the things that I went through growing up, like losing my brother and like my parents and stuff like that. Like a lot of stuff that just kind of showed me like life was too short, and it's a lot more enjoyable to live your life in your truth than to be disingenuous and lying to people and stuff like that. Just not being who you are. And I always want to, I always want people to. I always preach about people being themselves, and I always want people to, be their, see their individuality and reach it and maximize it. And so I can't preach that and not follow suit. You know what I'm saying? So right,
I
for
say
sure.
that, I was like, right, nah, I feel you.
Yeah.
Understood. So, recently in music, Lil Nas X came out.
Shout out to Lil Nas X.
Shout out to Lil Nas X. So, from your perspective, do you think that was a win for the LBGT?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, people will say like his approach was a little different, being that he kind of came out after he had this success. But I feel like regardless, it was still a win for sure. I mean, just being able to say like a black LGBT artist has the #1 song in the country right now and just broke a crazy record. Like, that's phenomenal, you know what I mean?
Absolutely.
So it's definitely a win. It's definitely inspiring. It's definitely motivating. It's definitely, shows like the youth that like, hey, it's possible for them too. So I definitely feel like it's a win for sure.
Absolutely, man. So here we are. You're doing music. Q complimented your outfit earlier.
Thank you.
What is something in music that you just have to do? Like, is there an artist in particular you want to work with? Is there a record you want to break? Let's start with the artist. Who you trying to work with, bro?
Man, who am I not trying to work with? So many people I'm trying to work with.
I understand. That could be an overwhelming question.
Right. Let me see if I can narrow it down.
Top three.
Definitely Beyonce.
Okay.
I mean, that's like the #1 goal for sure, of course. I definitely would love to work with Big Crit.
Oh, yes. Mississippi come together.
For sure. And number 3, I would probably say Lana Del Rey.
Okay. Wasn't expecting Lana Del Rey. Yeah. Why Lana Del Rey?
Very left field. I know, right? I'm obsessed with Lana Del Rey. I listen to her all the time. And I just feel like we would make some dope music together.
Absolutely, man. So you said that you got some new music out right now. Talk to us about this new music. Tell us about it.
Yeah, so I put this new single out. It's called Disaster. It was produced by the name of Euro, and I edited the video myself.
So you edit your own videos yourself?
Yes, sir.
Bro, like, how many things can you do? So you do music. Q's established that you can dress. Edit your own videos.
Yes.
What else?
I dance.
Okay.
Let's see. I'm right now I'm trying to learn the piano.
Okay.
So I can add that to my list. And then eventually I want to learn acoustic guitar. But yeah, I try to wear as many hats as I can. I do a lot of my own graphics sometimes. I manage my own website, and so like when I was in middle school, like I taught myself like HTML and coding and like. A lot of this, I'm really kind of a nerd in a sense when it comes to a lot of stuff.
You made good grades, didn't you?
Yeah. And so when I started like doing the music stuff, a lot of the stuff, on the marketing and branding side came easy for me because I had already kind of had this skill set. So yeah, I try to do as much as I can on my own because I feel like, nobody can really present you better than yourself, and nobody can really tell your story better than yourself. So
right,
I always want to be in control of my narrative and my brand.
Right. So that's basically how we were able to come to this song that you're pushing.
For sure. So yeah, I edited this video, and I'm excited, man. Like it took like probably a couple months for me to really be like, okay, I'm okay with it.
Right.
I'm satisfied because I really wanted it to be good. It's my first time. I've been editing a lot of my vlogs and stuff, but this is my first time taking on a whole music video and saying, I want to edit it myself. So I'm really excited about it. It just hit, it's almost at 5,000 plays on YouTube. The song is almost at 10,000 plays on Spotify. So I'm excited about it.
Moving and grooving.
Yeah, moving and grooving.
That's what's up, man. So in closing, what is some advice? We always like to leave on just good, positive energy. So what is some advice that you can provide for anybody who's trying to be like you? I want to do music, or I'm trying to find a way to express myself and let the world know who I am. What is some advice that you can provide, bro?
I would just say do you, and don't wait around for opportunities to fall in your lap, because a lot of times they won't, and a lot of times you'll be waiting forever. And if you really want something out of life, you really got to go after it. You got to find and make it happen in some kind of way. Life is too short. You may not even be here next week. And if it's something that you really want, you just gotta go for it. And you know, it's better to try it and you know, you maybe not get to where you want to be, but at least you can say you tried and you gave your best. And I feel like that should always be the determination, as you know, just for mankind. Like, why would you want to leave the earth without accomplishing your biggest, you know, dreams? So I just feel like just go for it. Let go of all your fears. It's easier said than done, but you gotta just go for it. Make it happen.
100%.
And believe in yourself. If you don't believe in yourself, you can't expect nobody else to believe in you. So gotta believe in yourself for sure.
100% agree with everything that you said, my brother. I just want to tell you, man, congratulations to you on all your success. You're definitely on my radar now.
Appreciate it.
Shout out to my dog Cree for bringing you through.
Shout out to Cree, the best.
Yes, man. Shout out to Cree, man. He out here making these moves, man. My dog out here making these moves.
For sure.
Instagram, Twitter, website, plug all that right now and introduce this song for the people, bro.
For sure. So you can find me on Instagram at Dames, Damez. You can find me on Twitter at Dames. You can find me on my website is damesmusic.com. It's where you can get all my music, videos, documentaries, all my content. And you guys just check me out. And we're about to play my new single. It's called Disaster. And it's a bop, big bop.
There it is. Let's get into it. I'm Moran, the man, 404 Spotlight, 96.7 The Beat.